Hi, everybody. We're the Skeleton Crew, and this segment of our live stream benefiting the SVP Futures Award will be clipped out as its own video later, so we're doing a little introduction right now.
Hi, this is Dalton coming to you live from the editing booth, and I just wanted to give an update on that fundraiser. Thanks so much to all of the donors and everyone who participated in the stream. So far, we've raised $7,750 for the SVP Futures Award. And it's important to note that the fundraiser is still ongoing, and you have until November 24th to donate. There's a link in the video description if you're feeling generous. Please drop in and give a donation. Every little bit counts. Thanks so much, and now back to the video.
If you were watching on the live stream, you'll know that it was a little chaotic and we were talking about the pronunciation of Reese's or Reese's candy. Please leave a comment to tell us how you pronounce it.
If you're voting on which one to do, you can indicate your answer with a picture of the monkey or the character from Malcolm in the Middle to indicate which side of the divide you fall on.
I think that's a good way to do it. Reese's or Reese's. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, so anyway, I'm Dr. James Napoli. I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences and North Carolina State University.
My name is Amelia Zietlow. I'm a PhD candidate at the American Museum of Natural History.
My name is Scott Johnston. I am the vertebrate paleontology fossil preparator and technician at Harvard University's Museum of Comparative Zoology. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Ooh, that's on Tuesday. Ooh. I'm Alex Rubenstahl, a PhD candidate at Yale University.
And I'm Dalton Meyer, also a PhD candidate at Yale University. And together,
we're the
Skeleton Crew.
Oh
yeah.
That was really bad.
That was not our best. And today we're going to talk.
Best.
It's our Halloween episode a little bit. You can see that I'm wearing. This is not my normal hair. You may not be aware of this. I'm also eating a Reese's stick. Or
James actually dies.
A Reese's stick.
Without the goatee and mustache component of that costume, it looks more like a very lazy like Doc Brown.
Yeah.
A Guy Fieri.
It was never Guy Fieri. I want to be clear. Legally, it was man with bleached hair and goatee.
Legally speaking, you were the duly appointed governmental ruler of Tastyville.
Exactly. And we're going to restaurants, drive-thrus, and cheap bars.
Rolls off the tongue.
It does. It does. They should name a show that.
Well.
Anyway. This is our Halloween episode, and we're talking about a little creepy creature called the Indoraptor that you might be familiar with from a movie called Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. If you've seen that movie, I am sorry. But we're going to talk about it a little bit today. I'm going to release the animal. Are you ready
Release
to see it
the
come
beast.
into the world?
Let's see it come out.
Ooh. Realize that I'm probably not reacting in live time.
Oh, look at it go.
I do like the animation that it does.
It's a very well animated critter.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
It can even see in the dark.
It can. Wow. Unlike the Indominus Rex, which couldn't.
It has dark vision.
It can echolocate? What? Was that ever established in media?
Yeah, like clicks and stuff, right?
Well, see, like, why though?
Wait, how can it echolocate without... Oh, no, it does have an ear. Okay. It's got... I didn't think it had external ears, but I see something that I'm sure is supposed to be one.
See, like, that...
Right there, maybe? Is that an external ear?
I don't know. It's dark. It's you're pointing to a dark blob on a dark animal in at night. Like,
I thought the laser pointer thing was to like fixate on a target, not necessarily like know who to attack.
See, well, yeah, I think it was to know who to attack, because I remember being like very frustrated with it in the movie when it was just like, hey, we have this laser device that you can mount on a rifle, And when you aim that laser attached to that rifle at a target and press the button, then the raptor will go and kill someone.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, why don't you just pull the trigger?
Right.
Yeah.
As a COD god, we know that the fastest way to kill your enemy is to point the laser pointer at them, to tell a 20-foot-long dinosaur to go and hunt them down
I
relentlessly.
mean, that is what the mortar strike is in COD.
Basically, do you ever get
It's a
those
kill.
with
It's a kill
Alex?
streak.
You know, one of those is more efficient. Now I'm thinking about it, and now I'm angry, and it's not necessarily this, but I'm just thinking like, so they basically, why is this one? Why can't this one like change its color? Like it's clicking. They're basically making the predator. Why not just like go for it and make this thing the predator?
Mm-hmm.
I have a slightly unrelated topic, but I need to voice this because I think it would be extremely fun. An
Okay.
Indoraptor kill streak in COD.
I
would
was
be
just
so
thinking
fun. Like
That
you
would
just, oh my god, that
You
would be
tag
so
a person and it will hunt them down wherever they are.
Yeah.
that would be great.
Well, there used to be like attack that like you could get dogs as a
Mm,
in the old COD game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I remember
like,
that.
Forgot about the
Have it
dogs.
work kind of like that.
But like
That'd be very fun.
those were never the best kill streaks because you can just shoot the dogs.
Uh-oh, stream stopped.
Uh-oh.
Stream stopped.
I've got it. It's
Not
back
stopped.
for me.
Okay.
No, I got it. It did blip out for a little bit, but it's back now.
You know, here's the thing that we'll probably look into next time.
Yep,
Maybe Twitch will be a little bit more stable.
Maybe.
maybe.
Yeah, guys, thank you for sticking with this stream. We have a lot of stuff going on, so I apologize for any stoppage or anything. Everything does look good on my end, so I do think it
Yeah,
might
we're
be a
back.
little bit server side, client side.
We're still back. Oh, it's buffering again. It's doing it for me too.
Okay, well, I apologize for all of you.
In
We're
the
not-
first,
We're
oh,
not
sorry.
going to use Twitch today, but we may eventually use Twitch
in the future.
in the future. Yeah.
In the original Jurassic World game, back when the roster of Triassic animals was not as good, I would put this in a very heavily forested enclosure and pretend that it was some kind of like Postasuket or something because it was on all fours. And I'd just be like, I can, if I believe.
You mean as opposed to now when we have a very solid repertoire of Triassic critters and you can put an actual Postasuchus in?
No, but at least now there's like stuff.
There's a Coelophysis and a Carnivorous.
Yeah. Well, the Herrerasaurus was in the last game.
Yeah, but there's Coelophysis, there's
Oh,
like
yeah.
green stuff.
What?
I can pretend I'm
Yeah.
something.
Herrerasaurus was in the like Carnivorous pack
Oh, right.
when
DLC.
with Acrocanthosaurus and stuff.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Um,
this
Much
is,
like a
it's,
Plesiosaurus or something.
so
Also,
anyway,
Dalton, do you just have one of these in the enclosure?
It's
There are
going in
two.
and out.
Oh,
There's
there's
two.
two.
There's
Okay.
two. They just wrestled.
Oh, well, it was out for me and I couldn't see anything. So
yeah.
I have stopped watching the stream and I'm just watching. I have loaded the park on my own computer and I'm just looking at the animals so I know what we're talking about.
I'm just gonna watch the chat because the stream is terrible and slow for me.
Yeah.
My stream is fine, so I will watch the stream.
all right. So what can we say about this critter? I guess one of the things that we could talk about is this guy is weird in that he is the only facultatively bipedal theropody thing that's in the game.
He's got his own rig.
He's got his own rig. He's all that fun stuff.
He should
Call him Elmer Riggs because he's got his own rig.
Oh my god.
Boo.
Terrible joke.
But so,
I
okay.
don't like this animal.
So would a posture like this be possible for a theropod?
No.
Yes. Well,
Ooh, contention.
I think it'd be possible for them.
Both
to
of you
evolve
explain.
I think I think you could probably make a quadrupedal theropod. I don't think you could make it like this.
Well,
I think you couldn't do either.
rather than do you think you can make a quadrupedal theropod? Could there be a quadrupedal theropod? Do we have any evidence of that? And if one was to be quadrupedal, how would it do that?
Do not bait me into talking about Spinosaurus. I am not taking the bait.
Like a sloth.
I don't think you could really get it. So there's a couple of things I would say. Hey, Kaprosuchus! Oh my god!
How much?
Kaprosuchus for Jurassic
Oh.
World Evolution 2, $125.
Thank
Hot
you.
dog.
That's what
Hey,
I like to
thank you
hear.
so much.
You are the best. Is
Also,
somebody gonna
yes,
be better?
absolutely
Maybe.
Kaprosuchus for Jurassic World Evolution 2.
Oh,
It's
I'd love
one of
that.
my favorite crocodilomorphs.
It's a
I
great
just
animal.
like any. Also, well, don't get me started on Kaprosuchus. I would like any crocodilomorph in the game, but Kaprosuchus is just like a crocodile with some weird bumps on its head.
Yeah, but it's got
Wasn't it?
cool teeth.
Wasn't
It is
more
not terrestrial. No,
Was it not?
no.
Why
Wait,
no?
really?
Why no? You see,
That's
you,
like
you
a
seem
bit
very
like-
exasperated by this.
It's like it's kind of a meme that's been built up around it, where it's kind of been reconstructed as this Notosuchian, but there is it's more like a Majungasuchus, so like cool, but like it's
Ah.
it's big croc hours.
Crania with it?
Huh?
Huh.
Alex,
I didn't know.
Yeah, what's
that.
up?
is there any Kaprosuchus post Crania?
I'm reminding myself of it now.
Okay.
I don't recall, but I could be wrong.
I don't believe any's been published. I don't
It's
know
a
if any's
gorgeous
been
man.
found.
That skull is so nice,
Skull is stunning.
and
Is
it's a
that-
cool skull.
It's also from the El Raz, right? Or is
Yeah.
it not?
Yes.
No, it's
No,
from
it's
the
from the
Ekar,
Ekar.
Okay.
Hmm.
which understandable, but yeah, it's a Majungasuchus, which are, I mean, it's the only other Majungasuchus besides Majungasuchus. It is a
It's a regular kind of thing.
yeah.
Well,
Oh,
anyway,
that's a shame.
I want to get back to theropod quadrupedality, though.
Yes, please.
So there are a couple things. One, the evolution of quadrupedality in dinosaurs is kind of complicated. There was a paper that came out by a few authors. I think Matt Dempsey was the lead author. He's done a lot of really good like theropod or not just theropod, dinosaur skeleton and muscular reconstructions, both in 3D and with traditional 2D drawing. He's a really, really talented artist. I think he's a PhD student right now. And his research indicated that there were several independent acquisitions of quadrupedality, which is something that I think had been floated before. But his research was also showing that it was being achieved differently each time, right? Wheat is really good at golf. I didn't know that, Wheat. But thank you for donating $10.
Thank you very much.
$5. You see, this is what happens. I talk about paleontology and we get money rolling in.
And yeah, Eli, yeah, you're right. It was an interpretation of the skull anatomy that was suggested for why it was terrestrial, but that's not why. It's not terrestrial.
And someone asked if any of us, speaking of Kaprosuchus, have read Primitive War. I have not, and I don't know if anyone. This was from the Cretaceous Critter.
I have not.
Mm-mm.
No.
Same no.
But anyway, here's the really cool thing about theropods, right? They never evolve quadrupedality. It happens independently several times in ornithischians. It happens
Nuts.
at least one time in sauropods or in sauropodomorphs, possibly multiple. So basically, what's happening in these animals is that it seems that as they get very large, they wind up being kind of forced down onto four legs, right? Dinosaurs ancestrally are bipedal. So that's the primitive condition for all of these groups. Independently, many lineages are becoming quadrupeds. Theropods don't. Generally, in these animals, it seems that they're becoming quadrupeds because they're getting very large. In sauropodomorphs, it seems to happen first. Like, you get larger ornithischians that are definitively bipedal in a lot of lineages, like, or at least facultatively bipedal, like hadrosaurs appear to have been, right? They get very, very large while retaining that capability. This is often associated with being herbivorous. Herbivorous animals tend to be larger than carnivorous animals. Not that there can't be carnivores as large as herbivores, but generally, eating plant material requires you to eat a lot more food to get a certain amount of nutrition. And so it is not advantageous to be an obligate herbivore, just eating like plant matter when you're very small. So you'll get things that we colloquially call an herbivore that are like rodent sized, but they're mostly eating seeds, which are very, very nutritious.
And the reason it's, I see this, a good question, which is asking why ceratopsians became quadrupedal before they started to grow large, which is because what James is explaining now is not necessarily a rule, and there are actually several clades which become quadrupedal and do not get big, which is also why some early theropods could have definitely become quadrupedal, in my opinion.
Well, hold on, I'm getting there. So those animals, it is a body mass question, and it is a body mass distribution question. So ceratopsians, have you looked at their giant heads?
No.
When you have your center of gravity, like, you can only be bipedal. This is a biomechanical rule, right? This is just how it works. If your center of gravity is over your hind limbs, you have to be able to put it there to be bipedal. You can be facultatively bipedal if there's a way for your body posture to adjust so that your center of gravity is over your hind limbs, right? It has to be over the feet.
Which is why we see, like, whenever like a hadrosaur, like in this game, is depicted going from quadrupedal to bipedal, it like rears up and shifts its weight backwards to then run.
Right.
But Eli has presaged the point I was going to make, which is, why does Silosaurus fit? Where does Silosaurus fit?
Great question.
Oh, are you saying you think Silosaurs are theropods?
I'm saying that if you can make a like sauropodomorph quadrupedal, and Silosaurs apparently just also become quadrupeds, there is nothing necessarily inhibiting the evolution of early diverging theropod that was quadrupedal.
There's nothing inhibiting the evolution of that, but it did not happen, as far as we know.
No, but that's not the question.
Well, but I am still trying to get there and tell my story about what's causing the evolution of quadrupedality in these other groups. It is, believe it or not, I have thought of this point. The thing that happens quite fast in theropod evolution is that their wrist becomes heavily modified and simplified. Mm-hmm. So they don't seem to have had the pressure to become quadrupedal early on. Silosaurs also, we don't really know what they are, right? I mean, there's been a couple of alternative placements right now. I don't know where they're going to wind up going. But when theropods start modifying their wrist very substantially, they probably have lost all chance they had of becoming quadrupedal animals. And I think the way that we know this is that later theropod groups that do become very, very massive herbivores never wind up becoming quadrupeds. Right? You don't, like, if they could do it, you would expect therizinosaurs or ornithomimosaurs that achieve massive, massive sizes would start to show trends toward becoming quadrupedal. That's a constraint. To become quadrupedal, a few things need to happen, right? This involves a few things. One is that your center of gravity winds up being anterior to your feet. Hey! Jurassic World Evolution 2 Dolly Karinkops has donated $225.
Wow, thank you
God.
very much.
Yes.
Top donation to the stream so far, right?
That's, I think, the top donation today, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Top donation today, and that will bring us to, let me double check, but that should push us over 1,000 for the stream today so far.
Nicely done, everybody.
Yes, well done. We're just a little bit over 1,000 for the stream today so far.
And that's
Y'all
over
are
4,000
killing it.
total.
Yes. So
We are so close. Keep in mind that once we hit the 5,000 mark, $5,000 is the amount to fund one of the awards.
And we're really close to that, aren't we?
we're at 4,200 about. $44,196.64. So if we get to that 5,000, we will have fully donated one award. We're hoping to fully fund two of them. But we'll see.
Still
what
got
we
a
can
lot
do.
to go.
Still got a lot to go. Keep it up the good work, guys.
Hey, James, do you want to give us a better view of this animal?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm sorry.
From a spy plane?
Yeah, it's only visible by U2 spy plane. There will be an international incident about this animal.
But will there be an album forced on your iPhone about it?
There might be. There might be.
The hit new band, Indoraptor. God, you have me doing it too.
I know. Anyway, here's the point.
A man breaking international law has been shot down in Lego City.
To become a quadrupedal animal, you need to put your hands on the ground. That is not a trivial task necessarily, especially in an upright posture, right? In mammals, when you, like, if you kind of, like, stand on your hands and knees, right? What happens is that your radius and ulna rotate around one another so that you can plant your hand on the ground. It also involves a lot of motion at the wrist, right? You're kind of forcing the hand into this posture. This is something that it's possible to lose the ability to do. In fact, the rotary joint around the ulna is not primitive for reptiles. A couple of reptile groups have independently achieved something similar. I've actually noticed something kind of similar in varanids. But that's like a mammalian trait. dinosaurs could only plant their hands on the ground by a rotation of kind of this shoulder and a strong rotation of the hand around the wrist. And that's why that most herbivorous dinosaurs, or ones that are quadrupedal, tend to kind of have their palms outward a little bit. They're not like in line with the front of the body like they are in mammals. Right? We can see this in ceratopsian footprints. The hands are kind of canted out that way. And that's because they're achieving this motion that they need to do, where they're planting their palm on the ground so that they can bear weight through rotation of the arm at the shoulder and through rotation at the wrist. What I've been trying to get to is that theropods start reducing their number of carpal bones and the direction of motion at the carpal joint very, very early in their evolution. And so, no, I don't think it was possible for most groups of derived theropod dinosaurs to ever achieve the kind of posture that they are shown as having here.
But
It was an incredibly long way of saying. Oh,
You know, Alex, we did get a lot of donations while I was saying it.
that's true.
It's true.
Everyone was. All the messages are, please stop talking about this.
That is not true.
No,
that
it's
is
not.
absolutely not true.
I've been asked.
It's a good. No, it's a good point of conversation. But you considered, what if theropods just started walking on the sides of their feet like a sloth?
Or knuckles.
Well,
What
well-
about knuckle walking?
No,
Just no.
no. I mean, because a lot of the issues that James is describing, in just how the wrist would essentially flex for knuckle walking, are still present.
Right.
Even if you wouldn't be like rotating.
They are, however,
medius
solved.
ulna and stuff.
If you walk on the sides of your hands.
Well, no, I mean, knuckle walking I think would be biomechanically, like, plausible, but knuckle walking actually involves a lot of modification as well to really be able to, like, because you need to have your extensor muscles large enough to bear, like, roughly a quarter of your body weight each.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, if you really, like, I mean, people can train this, right? Like, you can do finger push-ups and things. It's kind of the same biomechanical problem.
Mm-hmm.
Of, like, if you plant your forearms on the ground, I think most people, you know, if you're, like, relatively physically active, you can plant your hands on the ground and bear some weight through your arms for a period of time. It's not a comfortable way to walk. For you to, like, actually just plant your fingers on the ground and prop yourself up, what's happening is that your finger extensor tendons and muscles have to train to bear a lot of your body weight for a continuous period of time. Most people can't do that for very long, if at all. So knuckle walking is something that I would not expect to see in theropod dinosaurs just because it's quite rare. And it's quite rare because it is very difficult to achieve.
Mhm.
It only really exists in, like, colicotheres and primates, right?
As far as I know.
That's all I can think of.
Anteaters.
Oh, right, anteaters too. Yes. They could theoretically walk on the sides of their hands, I guess, but I don't see any reason for them to do that.
I'm sure no one saw any reason for a sloth to do it.
Well, sloths
I'm
are
glad
cursed
you-
animals that... They also have 8 cervical vertebrae. They do not obey any
Wait,
rules.
hold on. I'm proposing a new, like, gigantic ground paravians. They've come down from the trees and are now walking very stupidly.
It would be cool, but it doesn't seem to happen.
Like a
No.
giant. Yeah, wildlife wire, like ground sloths, the giant ground sloths.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm just
Oh,
saying...
giant pangolins knuckle walk?
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think we're talking about knuckle walking and Spinosaurus a little bit. We're talking around it. We have not yet done all the research we need to do on the various questions of Spinosaurus to assess that.
No.
But I think...
Nor do I think we have found the relevant anatomy in order to investigate that.
Well, right. I think you could establish how much muscle mass you would need to be able to do it. And I think it's probably more than is reasonable to infer was there.
Well, also, I think, I mean, the adaptations for knuckle walking, and at least, like, from the anteater skeleton, are pretty obvious. Like,
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't just do it on a
Osteology.
normal hand.
well, yeah, I'm talking in reference to Spinosaurus, and we don't have the relevant anatomy. We would need, like, I think it would be kind of, I don't want to say obvious, but there would be evidence for it.
Yeah. I think it is telling that these super large theropods that start to become, like, massive herbivores basically retain the proportions and anatomy and body plan of their ancestors, with whatever modifications they need to be herbivores. Like therizinosaurs wind up being very upright and having like these big kind of beer bellies. But they never show any tendency towards starting to walk on the forelimbs as well.
That we know of.
Yeah, I mean, I can't pretend that therizinosaurs are a remarkably well-sampled group.
Oh yeah. Also, chat, did you mislead me by saying that giant pangolins are quadrupedal on their knuckles? Wildlife Wire, you're gonna have to. Wildlife Wire, you're gonna have to comment and correct me. This is what I get for listening to chat. I don't know that much about pangolins.
I think they're kind of facultative quadrupeds.
Okay.
And it seems that when they do facultate, they're doing some kind of either knuckle or side of hand.
Okay.
Type thing.
I knew that a lot of pangolins are bipedal because they do the little like almost theropod dinosaur-y thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredibly cute. Thank you, Wildlife Wire, for confirming.
Did he correct you?
Yeah. Most pangolins do knuckle walk on the ground.
Excellent. Thank you,
Okay.
Wildlife Wire.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying that knuckle
They also
walking-
breathe fire.
They do. Again, I'm not saying that anything is literally impossible because that is a huge claim to make, but it seems that there was some constraint guiding theropod evolution, at least after the early phases of it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to find a Carnian, like, quadrupedal coelophysid.
That'd be
You
really
probably won't.
See,
Like
okay,
that.
this kind of dovetails into another question that I've had that is essentially the exact opposite side of like I have found it interesting that it seems like there's no quadrupedal theropods. I've also found it interesting that there's seemingly no carnivorous quadrupeds that were like quadrupedal dinosaurs that have convergently evolved carnivory.
Oh, just within dinosaurs?
Just within dinosaurs, yes. Like I know that there are carnivorous quadrupeds. I've seen a dog before.
I was about to be like, are you sure? Are you sure?
We have one on stream right now.
We do. Amelia, please reveal the quadrupedal carnivore.
He's here.
Can you hold
There's
him
a
to
dog?
the camera? Would he?
Oh, it's a
No,
cat.
he would have a fit.
I would
But
like to
he's
see that
here.
happen.
I would like to see this.
I don't
fit.
want that.
If
I
I'm
will.
being
I will
honest.
tilt my camera so that it's better visible that he's sitting with me right now.
And several
Oh,
people are
awesome.
also
Where are you
echoing my question of like I know that it is not even within the same realm of what we're talking about of that this thing is obviously based on a theropod, but I always just found it interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta tell you, I hate the quadrupedal design. I hate that this and the Indominus Rex do that thing where sometimes they are like starting to be quadrupedal. It's
I
just,
disagree. I think it's fun and it's a movie, so it doesn't matter.
I do think it's fun.
I think
I
it's
like it a
not
lot.
fun and breaks my immersion. And here, like,
Oh no!
Sorry.
It breaks the immersion of some pedant nerd who
Yeah.
cares.
Oh no,
it does.
James, you said
we
the
have a
thing,
whole
which
stream
means that
to
you
get-
must be dogpiled.
Right. We have a whole stream about evaluating the design, but if we criticize the design, we get dogpiled for not liking it.
How dare you?
I know,
Well, it's-
I know.
The criticism.
There's
that's
an
wrong.
anatomical
It's
objection.
not a wrong criticism. I think it looks stupid because this animal is not designed to be a quadruped, and it just looks off balance to me. I don't think it like this doesn't make it look creepy. I
Oh,
don't
that's
know.
interesting.
You know, like it just looks bad. I'd be fine with there being a quadrupedal like dinosaur design. I think there'd be ways to do it well as a predator.
Hold
this
on.
just looks like they've put a theropod onto all fours because that makes it spookier.
I have something in the chat that has actually kind of tickled my brain. Do we think that Scansoriopterids, in their forearm weirdness, could have maybe been facultative quadrupeds?
Why would they be?
I mean,
Kind of like
I
a
don't-
pterosaur analog?
Oh, I
But
don't
they're
think so.
bird shaped.
I mean, quadrupedal, I guess, in the sense that I bet they were using their arms when they were climbing around in trees.
Oh, sure, yeah. But just
But if
like
they were on the ground, I doubt it.
they have these huge, like they have these huge, meaty, bony,
Big meaty
flesh
claws.
forearms.
My guess
I
is
don't know,
that they
'cause they look-
folded. I think they
Yeah,
probably
no,
just folded
they
them
look
up.
like they should be bipedal, but like if you were to size one of those up, like I don't know, because they still have little hands. It's not like a bird.
Yeah, I don't think they could do the motions that are involved in the pterosaur wing, like making it terrestrial, are pretty complicated. I
Yeah.
don't think you could make a Maniraptoran do that. And like, there's a lot of uncertainty in the positions of Scansoriopterigids. I think they're probably, well, I don't even know if I can say what they probably are. But they're definitely Maniraptorans, right? They're
Yeah, I
already
guess it depends how much that pteroid is folding back as opposed to going out.
right.
Also,
I would
Milo,
bet you
the
that's
zoo-loving-
guiding the folding.
Also, Milo, the zoo-loving scientist, half an hour stun lock right out the gates. Is that a record? I resent that fact. I do not think that this is a stun lock. We are talking about the design. This is on topic.
Yeah. This is my main criticism with the designs of these animals in general, is that they do enough weird things to the anatomy. Like, this is not as conservative as the Indominus Rex, which, as we kind of established, basically looks like an abelisaur. With,
An
abelisaur combined with
crossed with a, yeah.
Yeah, with like a Carcharodontosaur.
Yeah.
Right. But it doesn't, like, as I think I said during the stream, but maybe it was somebody else, like, I don't think we'd be surprised if an animal that looked like Indominus Rex was found, with the exception of the opposable thumb. Right. This would be more surprising, but it just, like, there's nothing that I find cool or interesting about this design. Like, it feels a little bit, like, desperately edgy. I don't know. Like, it feels like all the designs are like, ooh, make it creepy, make it weird. But this animal doesn't really feel creepy or weird to me. It just looks like they've forced a theropod down onto all fours.
It could be way creepier.
Right, and that's what I wish, and that's, I guess, my general criticism is when they actually have the artistic license to make something that looks however they want, they don't really make something that's that interesting. Or that, like, unique. This has the proportions and general body shape of a theropod, except that it's on its hands and knees.
Like when it gets up and runs on its back two legs, like it just kind of looks like a theropod.
Yeah.
What is it made of? In the I don't, like what is the genome in the
Indominus Rex plus more velociraptor. Because they need the Indominus Rex bones to make it.
Oh, someone asks, aren't most theropod hand trace fossils from the early / middle Jurassic? If so, maybe early on they had been burrowing or something.
I think that might just be because most theropod trace fossils I'm aware of come from them.
Yeah, I think it's just more of a sampling thing.
But I think it's also worth noting, I don't think there's any indication of using the hands in locomotion. I think it's more like there's a lot of rest traces where it looks like their hands kind of drop onto the ground when they're sitting. Also, a lot of, like, this is a piece of complexity with interpreting these tracks that a lot of people don't consider. Most of these tracks are kind of made in, like, sand or mud. And so the tracks are three-dimensional. So in a lot of cases, like, we have... And I don't mean they're three-dimensional like they have relief. Like, you can almost tomographically section them at different levels, and you will see different track morphologies. This is stuff that my old undergrad advisor, Steve Gatesy at Brown, has written about a lot. And
Also, some of them are three-dimensional, as you can see the topology. We had one at Michigan where you could see the individual toe pads so incredibly clear, like this dinosaur came around and just like pressed its foot into the mud, stood up and like hopped away and like was trying to make a good footprint. Like it's gorgeous.
Oh, I mean, some of them are beautiful, but what's really cool about some of these is you can see, like, the trace that the toes are making in the mud, like, as that, you know, if you were to look at it volumetrically, you can see that this is an animal kind of struggling through the mud. And so I think in a lot of cases, a theropod's hands might make prints because it's something that's kind of sinking through mud and trying to get out. Like, imagine an animal, like, really, really struggling to walk through a soft substrate. It's not always like they're walking over a sandy beach and leaving these perfect shallow footprints. There's a lot of complexity in interpreting these trace fossils.
Could there be like a digging? Actually, hold on, never mind.
What?
I was gonna ask if there could be a burrowing theropod, but
Probably.
for another time.
Why not?
A discussion for another time.
Well, there is one.
So there are.
There's Athene canucularia, the burrowing owl.
Yes.
Well, they don't make their burrows though.
They don't make their burrows?
They inhabit the burrows of other of burrowing mammals.
Oh well, never mind. Fake burrowers.
Now I'm trying to see, like, don't puffins burrow? Or do they do the same thing?
I don't remember.
I'm looking this up.
But I
Little
think
penguins burrow.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were some theropods in the whole 150 plus million year history that burrowed.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, actually, yeah. Puffins do burrow.
That's so good. They're such a good bird.
They're amazing.
Yeah, I mean, not to talk about Star Wars again, but the fact... I only learned about this a couple of days ago from Kalani, who may or may not still be watching. But I did not know that the porgs were added basically as a response to the fact that there were puffins in a lot of shots in The Last Jedi.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite little details of, like, it's such fun creativity of, like, instead of spending so much time digitally removing all the puffins in the back of these shots, why don't we just make a couple fantasy puffins up close, and then so we don't have to do that?
Right. Because they legally were not allowed to move the puffins, right?
No.
Are they a protected species?
Yeah.
Especially on that island.
Yeah, it's like
a
a
sanctuary.
That's
whole
great.
And, like, okay, this
It's a great
does not...
creative movie.
Yeah. This does not look like a Velociraptor plus Indominus Rex.
Well, no, but the velociraptors don't look like velociraptors.
But it doesn't even look like a Jurassic World Velociraptor plus Indominus Rex.
Right.
No, it's a terrible monster.
I do
But
like...
I kind of like it for it.
I do like the little bit of screw you, dino nerds on the part of the designers of these movies, in that the only dinosaurs that have anything resembling feathers are the fake ones.
And
a
JP3.
Well, no, I'm talking about the Jurassic World.
Oh, yeah.
And the terrible Dimorphodon.
There's the terrible Dimorphodon, and there's a lizard with feathers in
Oh,
Dr.
God.
Mo's lab, which
Yeah.
made me so angry when I saw it. I was like, I was told to curse less on stream by Alex last night, so I'm not going to say what I was going to say. But it made me very upset.
It's specifically a little caiman lizard, right?
Yeah.
Wait! There were feathers. There were feathers on dinosaurs. I saw that movie. I thought it was bull.
Let it be known we're not forgetting the third Jurassic World film. This is just up to this point. In the Jurassic Worlds, the only things that had feathers were fake.
Right.
Yeah.
Except again, Dimorphodon.
And I mean,
Except
listen,
again, Dimorphodon.
Pyroraptor's mostly
It's basically
fake. It is
Yeah,
technically a real
it's-
dinosaur that existed, but
Of
that
Of
was...
course it's fake. It's French.
Right, that was an invented animal.
I love... Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, that's my assessment of this design. I don't find the parts of it that deviate from normal theropod anatomy, like, interesting or scary or creepy. It just feels like a huge misfire in terms of creative creature design to me.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Thank you for your valuable insight, Amelia.
Yeah,
Share how you feel about it.
I like it, and you're lame, James, for not liking it.
That's
Like,
fine.
I don't see the problem. I don't care about, I don't know, immersion. Like, it does not... Given that I expect all the dinosaurs in the movies to look bad, it does not break my immersion to have a dinosaur look bad. Like, I saw the first movie. I kind of know what's going on. So, I don't know. I don't care. I have a hot take, which is that I really like Fallen Kingdom. It's so stupid. It's fun. Especially the second half, where this thing runs amok. It's just, like, I don't know. I went into it wanting something stupid and fun, and that's what it was. So I like this creature quite a bit. I like that it's in the movie too. I like that there's a lot of shots of it as a puppet, which I think is great. Like, I don't know. It's fun.
The puppet is a good component of it. I like Fallen Kingdom as a movie, I think, more than I should.
Same.
And part of that is because of the puppets were great.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, I know.
that's okay.
See,
But
Go on.
I was saying,
Dalton.
this is not an original take, but Jenny Nicholson, in her review of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, points out the very hilarious thing, which is that the Indoraptor, the only reason it's a villain is because it needs a mommy. It didn't have a mommy growing up.
Mommy
And so
issues,
and the only reason that they are trying to kidnap Blue is to make Blue a surrogate mommy for another Indoraptor that they're going to make. And I just think that's hilarious.
Right. I also think, this is maybe, I think this kind of epitomizes the lack of any thought put into this entire franchise. So they call the first bad guy dinosaur the Indominus Rex.
Motherless behavior.
Absolutely motherless behavior.
Thank you, Draco Master.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I'm just realizing that the plot of Fallen Kingdom was like essentially a libertarian like social plot. It's like, why are all the young men messed up? They don't have a woman in their life.
Well, it's a plot lifted from Michael Crichton's version of The Lost World, where the velociraptors are behaving like psychopathically to each other because they did not like learn social behavior from other velociraptors growing up.
Right.
Which is
internally inconsistent with the prior novel, but
yes, but it is an interesting point to bring up that if you resurrect like a species de novo, they don't have a history of any learned social behavior. So in the more behaviorally complex species, they might start behaving weird.
I've heard that that's an issue with like gorillas in captivity and stuff, and one of the reasons why some zoos have switched to like from hand rearing them to letting the mothers take care of them. Right. Again, Wildlife Wire. You probably know this better than I do.
Well, it's also something that happens with people, right? And this is like not a fun topic. I don't want to kind of bring up a bummer here, but like feral children is a phenomenon of like, either children who are really, really abused or who are like not given any sort of direct parental care. There's not a lot of cases of it. And the cases that exist are incredibly, incredibly sad. But basically, if you miss a window to like learn language and learn to socialize, there seems to be a degree to which you can never really recover the deficit. Like, it is something really important to your development. You don't naturally develop a lot of these kind of social behavioral guidelines. Mm-hmm. And so people who've been rescued from those sorts of situations are never really able to like function societally. Like many of them struggle to pick up any linguistic ability or like learn what? Oh no, Alex is laughing.
Someone just said cowabummer.
Cowabummer, that's what I was laughing about.
Cowabummer.
Cowabummer, dude. Feral children.
That was in response to Wildlife Wire saying earlier it's an issue with trying to have Taurus cattle replicate extinct aurochs.
I'm sorry, no, Kevin
That's
Cream.
the
How do you
cowabummer.
do feral kids?
That's good.
Oh no. It's too good.
It's too funny to cut out of the VOD. Oh god.
Amazingly well done.
Anyway, it's a thing. Hey, Abel Alfonso, $10 donation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, as I bump into things.
Yeah, it's just a thing. So I don't think Michael Crichton was wrong to think of it for The Lost World. It's just something he had not thought of by the time he wrote the first one, I guess.
Well, that's because there was someone with like a sawed-off shotgun pressed to the back of his head in the room. It was like, you got to finish the next one, Michael.
Got to make a sequel.
But anyway, in terms of the lack of any internal consistency in these movies or like any thought put into them, the villain of the first one is called Indominus Rex, which means untamable tyrant in Latin. Great name.
Yeah.
Then they're like, we need to come up with a name for our new creation. And they call it the Indoraptor.
The thief from India.
Right. And I'm just, which is literally what it means. Like, I think Indoraptor, by the grace of God, was not an occupied taxonomic name at that point.
Because
but it easily could have been.
So could Indominus Rex. Like that does actually seem like it could be a valid taxonomic name.
Yeah, it could. And there is,
which I know was kind of what they were going for.
Right. No, exactly. It's just like Indoraptor is so obviously like the marketing department at Universal being like, they need to know it's like the one from the last thing.
But it's different because this one's black now.
Right, I can start with Indo.
Yeah, sure, fine. But I can kind of twist myself into like I'm not going to defend Fallen Kingdom because I think it's just a bad movie through and through.
So bad.
But I can convince myself, like naming your new monster, hey, this is the Indoraptor, is exactly the absolutely brain empty thing some kind of
A tech bro.
tech bro would do.
Oh, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I'm gonna briefly interject to say that we're at about $4,200. If we could get to 5,000 and support one award by the end of this video, which would be 4:00 Eastern time, that would be
that'd be
fantastic.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
It would be great to be able to show that off in the cut out of this that'll premiere next week.
Yep.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Anyway, Alex, I see your point, but I think it's dumb.
That's fine. It's a dumb movie.
It's a very dumb movie, but that's
The one
why
thing-
I like it.
The one thing I'll say about Fallen Kingdom that always surprises me every time I've watched it, and by every time I mean both times I've watched it, is how shockingly, incredibly well shot it is.
Yeah.
It's a good director.
It's a stunningly beautiful movie in some shots. Where it's just like, wow, that's a really there were so many times where I was just watching that, I was like, God, this is pretty. I don't like what's happening.
Well, and
But it sure is pretty.
it has some of the most fun individual scenes from the entire new trilogy. Like the intro bit with the Mosasaur and the Sub and the Rex and the Rain is
I didn't
great.
like that.
I like the intro a lot, yeah.
That
It's
that
good.
intro
Except-
goes so hard.
Except for the Cardinal Sin it committed, which I will never forgive the movie for.
What?
Retconning the position of the lake. When
Oh,
the
yeah!
marketing for the prior movie featured very plainly a map of the island in which the Mosasaur Lagoon is isolated from the ocean. But
Right.
Because it
which
makes
does
sense.
make
The marketing of the prior movie also featured a baryonyx that didn't look, like it does.
Well, yes. Listen, I
So-
have many issues with Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah. So there's that, and then also I really love the whole bit where it's creeping around the mansion. I just think it's great. And there's
That
the shot
bit
with
is
the
so
rocking
cool.
horse. I love the shot with perfect, beautiful. It's very stupid, but I love it.
See, if we're talking about bits where it's going around the mansion and stuff, I like the incredibly. Is it on the nose? Yes. Is it dumb? Yes. I love the
Hey,
the
Adamolos,
horrible-
$25 donation.
Hey, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Sorry, Scott. Go ahead.
No, I absolutely love the fact that they made the horrible mutant monster dinosaur crawl on the top of a Victorian mansion and howl at the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
Dalton, did you just tip $20?
I did.
Thank you, Dalton.
Thanks, Dalton.
Skeleton Crew viewer Dalton Meyer.
It's
Also, someone commented that everything with the Mosasaur makes no sense, which is perfectly fine by me. I like that it just kind of appears and minds its own business and has no relevance to anything at all.
I do like
becomes
that.
friends with some whales, which is
is
actually pretty cool.
It is almost never part of the plot of the movies. It's,
No.
it's just like
It's like, here it
it's
is.
one scene. Yeah, hey, you want to see the big lizard? There's the big lizard. Go back to the plot.
That is all I wanted from Dominion. I'm like, just please don't kill the Mosasaur and I'll be happy. And it's like, it did exactly what it does in all the movies, which it shows up twice and looks cool. And that's
Killing the Mosasaur would be the primary goal of every world government for until it is gone.
Protecting shipping lanes.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, we need to enable international trade. We're gonna have the Mosasaur stuck sideways in the Suez
The
Canal.
Suez
by the end.
Canal.
I something tells me that the fine men and women of the United States Navy would have an absolute field day of blowing a whale-sized lizard to Kingdom Come.
Yeah, we'd have every nuclear sub just ready. Like, hey, if you see a really, really big lizard,
It's not even
Go at it.
Fire for
Loads
effect.
Ohio-class submarine with malicious intent.
I mean, I think the most it does is steal one thing of crabs, and that's it.
Yeah.
yeah.
well, I'm just
Not
saying,
a
it's
threat.
it's nearly the size of an aircraft carrier. Like, it is very dangerous theoretically.
It's big. It's not that dangerous. It
Oh,
makes friends with
all right.
some whales.
Maybe Sea Shepherd would go after it. I don't think it was making friends with the whales. I think that cut just before disaster.
I think it's strongly implied that they were friends.
And they were roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
But
I
anyway,
want to talk
Go ahead,
about
Alex. I'm sorry.
Indoraptor, because
Okay.
we're supposed to be talking about Indoraptor.
We are
And
supposed
this
to be
is
talking
just
about that.
Indoraptor in how there've been a lot of thoughtful comments and critiques about the monster. And I'm here to just offer a shorter opinion as someone who I think is on the record is not super loving Fallen Kingdom, or finishing it the first time I watched it, and then watching the ending on YouTube months later. I like the idea of the Indoraptor, and I think the scene where it like cheekily
Oh, that's my favorite.
looks at camera and then eats a dude is pretty great. And also, yeah, I think the practical effects look good, and I kind of like that it's a sick mutant monster, and I don't mind some of the weird anatomical things. I think what really kind of rubs me the wrong way about the Indoraptor is that, well, first of all, the movie's a mess, and the first half of the movie doesn't set up the villain. It's just a big volcano that then kills the cool islands and the cool dinosaur, and that poisoned me against the movie.
Yep.
And then they're like, okay, here it is, the big auction. Da, 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 da. And they show the Indoraptor, and you're like, all right, that's pretty cool. And then they're like, now we're going to do a horror sequence, right? But and not to be an annoying film person, and it's really not that. It's just like you don't show the fucking monster in like full lighting before your tense horror like scene.
Like the most full lighting. They have it lit like it's an Apple product.
Like if you saw if you could keep the design 50%, and if you never saw the full thing, like you got a close up of its eye before it eats that guy, or just kind of like a weird thing slinking around in the shadows, I think it would have gone much harder.
Yeah,
And I think
my opinion.
I think
Or
the whole
if it camouflages.
I think the whole movie should have just focused on that rather than blow up the island for no reason.
Well, yeah.
Like I think the whole thing should have just been weird, creepy horror thing where like you do not see you don't see the critter until the end, if at all.
Yeah, and then
And,
like maybe right at the end it dies and you see it. But
it's also so clearly two scripts.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's like I went on that rant a while ago of like it really seems like they had two ideas for how to make a sequel to Jurassic World, and they couldn't figure out how to do one, so they just did both of them.
And like, why is it so difficult to write a sequel to Jurassic Park? Like, I don't think it's that hard. The plotline always should be there are velociraptors on the mainland in Latin America and they're eating babies out of their cribs. We need to find them.
it's not that it's hard to make a sequel to it's not that it's hard to write a sequel to Jurassic Park. It's hard that you are writing a sequel to a Steven Spielberg movie.
Well, right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Someone who is very good.
Yeah, but it just seems like remarkable that every single time they come up with one of the most incompetently written movies that you've ever seen.
Even Spielberg couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, The Lost
Also,
World
I don't think
has
I think
some
he was
issues
busy
the
with
script.
other stuff for that one.
Yeah, I think the Lost World movie, like, I think it just did not go through enough rewrites. Because I feel like there's most of a good movie there. There are just some glaring script issues that kind of make it fall
And
short.
there's the Lost World. The Lost World has a compelling reason for that. The issue it's why it's hard to make a sequel, right? Is because in both instances of the intro, all the action, everything bad happens on an island, and the true easy response is why
Don't
would
go to the
anyone just
island.
ever go to that island? And the Lost World, and honestly to a lesser extent, Jurassic Park 3 are the best ones for like a convincing reason of why are they going back to the island. The Lost World, I for the most part like.
I do
It
too.
does have issues, but it's a convincing reason of why they're going to the island. It's like, oh, this is the company trying to recover its assets and get losses back so it doesn't go into Chapter 11. I believe that 1,000%.
And
then some activists are trying to stop it. In Jurassic Park 3, it's stupid tourists, which I also...
Who
it's not
get
a-
there accidentally.
It's not a compelling
yeah.
reason to set up a movie, maybe, but it is at least realistic.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
tourist
it's a thing
people-
that
Especially because it focuses on the kid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like if it was like the dumbass like failed tech bro who was trying to run a like an app-based dino tourism thing and then get stuck on the dino island, and it's just like, yeah, you deserve that, buddy.
All right, hey, Frail Restraint just tipped $250.
Oh,
Thank you very
Jesus.
much.
Yeehaw.
My lord, you can
Thank
be
you
as
so
mean
much.
to me as you want.
Thank you.
Hey
thank you.
yo.
Yeah, come on.
Ramallah, that's to you.
Okay.
Anyway, all that is to say, I think that they were trying to do that in Fallen Kingdom, of have a compelling reason to go back to the island. They had two reasons, right? One is there's the volcano, and two is they need a mommy for this weapon they're trying to make.
Right.
And I think they could have not done the volcano, and it would have been a more cohesive movie, because like Owen very clearly, as a character, like feels bad about leaving Blue on this island, but there's no impetus for him to go back, right? But if he gets contacted by an organization and they're like, hey, like, we're going to go back to the island, we want to rescue Blue because all the other velociraptors died, like this is a lone social animal, and like we want to like set up a sanctuary or something, and like they trick Owen, but the motive is very clearly from the start, like we're here to get this velociraptor, and like Owen gets wrapped up in it, and maybe he like somehow wraps up the other characters in it, and they're going, and there's no like it's not like we have to rescue all the dinosaurs. It's like they think they're going just to get this one thing, and then they find out that they've been wrapped up in a thing of people trying to smuggle dinosaurs off the island to sell them, and also they need this raptor. And it can be essentially the same movie, but it's setting up the nefarious things from the get-go, as opposed to making it a twist that you will see coming a billion miles away.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god. The whole Indoraptor plot for Fallen Kingdom is just the plot of Alien Resurrection. They're making a stupid hybrid, and they need Sigourney Weaver to be its mom.
Well, everyone
That's
knows
interesting
that,
because Sigourney Weaver actually played Blue in the movies.
yeah. Well, everyone knows that a proper like incredibly dangerous weapon needs a good mommy figure. That's why Kalashnikov stayed around as long as he had to be a mother to all of the hatchling AK-47s.
Right. That's actually why there wasn't a nuclear exchange between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. Is they appointed like mother figures to just sit in the silo and like read to the missiles, and they haven't misbehaved.
I'm thinking about it a lot now, and they just ripped off a bad movie, which is Alien Resurrection. But at least in that, a baby gets sucked through a baby monster gets sucked like head first through a tiny hole in a ship, and it's pretty cool.
It is a terrible, terrible movie. What I do like about it, and here's what I will say. Unlike Amelia, I don't think I unironically enjoy this movie. But I do ironically enjoy this movie, and here's why.
Oh, I ironically enjoy it a ton.
Well, it depends on the circumstances in which I'm watching it. Sometimes, like, it's late at night and I just want to watch a movie and I want to drink a wine, and that's what I do.
Indoraptor phylogeny is
Get down, Mr. President.
And that's it.
What'd you say? You want to do the phylogeny section?
Someone asked to.
Oh, we will do one.
That also reminds me that there's a fun little detail in the game that if you look in the Dinopedia of Indoraptor and Indominus Rex, it has its time period listed as Holocene.
Oh,
That's
I like that.
nice.
It's a cute little detail.
Let me look at the
Oh,
Dinopedia.
I think that was true for the other hybrids too in JW1.
Here's what I really like about Fallen Kingdom. Right. In the Jurassic World movies or in the Jurassic Park movies, there's a degree of like reverence for the dinosaurs as animals that I think is kind of an undercurrent from Jurassic Park all the way through, where, you know, they're kind of treated as these beautiful miracles of science and nature that we're able to see in a privileged way. And some of them are antagonists, right? Some of them are chasing the protagonist. Some people try to kill people, or some dinosaurs try to kill people. But generally, like, you're not supposed to actually be violent toward them, right? The one exception to this is the scene where Kelly gymnastics kicks the velociraptor off the roof.
Which is why it feels so out of place, as you mentioned previously.
Right, which is why it feels out of place. And even in Jurassic World, like, there's a tremendous, like, there's this psychopath dinosaur running a rampage through the park. But there's a lot of scenes of, like, you know, the scene with the Apatosaurus herd that's been slaughtered in the field is, I think, emblematic of this, where it's really supposed to be like, these are beautiful, wonderful creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And even if they're dangerous, the fact that they are coming to harm is a bad, sad thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Should we rank this thing?
Yeah, but I have a thing I wanted to say first.
Oh, no, it's only 3:30. I thought it was
Yeah,
only
we have 20 minutes left to kill.
Good.
So,
I thought we were out of time.
Yeah, no.
Now I've become Raptor.
I mean, depending on the canon, someone has I think thrown Doom as an example, but Doom is corporation bad, and the remake is God himself make corporation bad. So
Doom like the game?
yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well,
point
yeah, Doom the game
sorry.
is absolutely corporation bad. It's like, hey, a company will literally, it's just like, hey, what if we open a portal to hell to increase
it.
profits?
And I mean,
Then
like,
go up.
this might be my own, like, kind of naivete, but I think there would actually be a market for, like, movies that treat the incidents at Jurassic Park as a source for, like, very, very in-depth character-driven or, like, kind of character and dialogue-driven, like, courtroom proceedings.
Yeah.
I don't know. It probably wouldn't work as a major, like, a blockbuster movie, but, like, as a TV show where, you know,
An old
one
Netflix
season's...
movie.
Like a Netflix movie where it's just like, okay, let's get all these people on trial. What the hell happened on Isla Nublar?
It was like the Chernobyl of Jurassic Park.
Right. If you do it
Honestly,
that
yeah.
way. Yeah.
Although Chernobyl does work a little bit because you do go to Chernobyl and you're like, oh my god.
Well,
Have you
this
not
would
been to
have
Jurassic Park?
I think this series would have to have flashbacks to.
Okay.
Right. And you do it with flashbacks that are interesting. I mean, you know, not to talk about Oppenheimer again, but I think that was a wonderful structure for a movie about that sort of an incident. But like something similar where it's really just highlights that are important. Somebody said that Oppenheimer feels like a movie trailer, but that's 3 hours long. Because it is like so rapidly cutting between important points. And I think it's an interesting way to cover an incident like that, where you really are like, here are the major hits and here are the interactions that are emblematic of what happened. This is not a literal narrative, right? Like, here's one conversation that illustrates kind of what a year at Los Alamos looked like, right? Because you really don't need to see all of that.
Law and Order special for Velociraptor unit.
Right. But anyway,
Thank you.
Anyway, the point I was trying to make is that the reason I like Fallen Kingdom is that all of this DNA of the dinosaurs are these beautiful, wonderful creatures, and it is bad when bad things happen to them. We just, you know, we need to find a way that people will not be hurt, is thrown out the window, and they're like, I'm going to lock a baryonyx in a pipe that is filling with lava. It is so stupid. You know, they're just like hitting its face with the door to close it. We get to watch the dinosaurs get obliterated by volcanic bombs and like drown in the ocean. And it feels almost gleeful. And when I watched the movie, I almost couldn't believe that that's really what they went with. But I kind of respect it.
I had the thought of like on the like side of like treating Jurassic like the dinosaurs with. Why am I getting damn you, Scott? What did I do?
You read I think you read the comment.
No.
Or maybe you made the joke at the same exact time of Law and Order.
No. I was reading your comment, Adamawa. So sorry for not
That's a good
crediting you
comment.
on that.
Yeah.
But no. So one of the things that actually I think weirdly goes into that as well is that it took me, and I wonder if it happened to you guys too. Took me so out of the movie during the auction scene how cheap they were all going for. I know it's a bit of a meme, but it was just like, hey, do you want an Ankylosaurus? It was like, it's like a Honda Civic.
Lucille Bluth should have been there. Like,
Just
how
one
much that
dinosaur.
cost? $10?
Yeah.
I think I've told this story before, perhaps to you all, but I know that Colin Trevorrow tweeted about that after the fact and was like, hey, like, yes, we're aware that these prices seem comically low. Originally, they were much higher, and test audiences felt that they were too high, and so they were mandated to change them to lower prices.
Test audiences are stupid.
Which I'm like,
They really
who did you
are.
test audience with? Lucille Bluth, apparently.
It's Lucille Blue.
Go
What's
buy
very
it. Hey,
funny also-
$10. Go buy a dinosaur.
I mean, listen, not that we condone necessarily the sale of private fossil specimens, but like...
Because we
I
don't.
We don't, and I'm not
We
trying to
don't
be
at
flippant
all.
about it. But like Stan sold for like $36 million. So it's like you can have a T-Rex. Or if you pay an order of magnitude more money, you could have just its bones.
Right? How much does it cost to make a T-Rex in this game?
That's a good question. Let me take a
Go
look.
check
Let
right
me
now.
take a
Yeah, we
look.
can just
I
check.
think we might need a mod that inflates the prices of making these animals to the cost of
Well,
buying
like,
their fossil.
1.964 million. It's
How much?
It's under 2 million. It's 1.9 million.
Okay, but that's to
Jesus.
incubate it.
No,
That's the
at
incubation
base,
cost
it's
per egg.
$982,000.
$900,000.
That's to synthesize the egg, and then you have to pay to incubate it too.
All right.
You can't even buy an apartment in Canada for that much.
So maybe 3.
I wonder.
Oh, hold on. I'll be right back.
A T-Rex in Zoo Tycoon 2 is $80K.
They were really underselling. That's inflation for you.
I wonder. I'm looking. Okay, you want to know what's very funny about this?
What?
There are koi that are more expensive. Koi fish that go for more than that.
Right.
Shut up.
In my very, very, very preliminary Google searching here, it looks like the most expensive koi is worth $1.8 million.
Why are
You know
we
what?
not
I'm
in the
look-
koi business?
Because fish people are crazy. I had a whatchamacallit, audiobook that was about. It was actually about arowana, and actually I'm gonna look up arowana too because it's another fish that people go bonkers for.
While Amelia's looking this up, if you are in the koi business, please donate
Please
a
don't.
generous amount.
Fun fact, apparently there was because I looked up most expensive animals, and apparently there was a horse that was auctioned off in 2009 whose name was Green Monkey, who went for $16 million.
Oh my lord.
You could get 16.
Arowana are less expensive. I'm getting
I
a
think
max
that
of
does
around
literally
$500,000.
mean that Stan was the single most expensive individual animal that ever existed.
At
Right?
the moment, yeah, I think so.
I wish
That's
I could go
insane.
back in time and tell that individual T-Rex, like,
You,
hey,
you did it.
you
Do you have
better go
any-
die in a creek over here and fossilize, because you are going to be worth far more than any other being that has ever existed.
Hello, Stan the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Allow me to explain how money works.
So the animal here cost about 2.8 million.
Jesus.
This Tyrannosaurus
So
Rex.
for the price of a cool horse, you could get 8 T-Rexes.
Oh, there was a cat named Blackie in 1988 was bequeathed a $9.7 million fortune after his owner died and decided to snub his family and gave all of it to the cat.
That's awesome.
That
That's
cat
a
could
good
buy
shout.
several T-Rexes.
Apparently, Grumpy Cat Tartar Sauce was worth about $100 million before she died.
Whoa.
Well, worth is different than like actually being sold for.
That is a good point. A lot of Grumpy
we're
Cats.
not counting net worth right
No,
now.
yeah.
Merchandising.
No, a lot of Grumpy Cat's net worth wasn't exactly liquid. She had a lot of it in stocks.
It's all about the merchandising. Merchandising.
Right.
Oh, there was a pigeon named New Kim, which I imagine was
What
named
about Old
after
Kim?
Old Kim died.
Oh,
Penniless.
wait, I'm sorry. Kalani's in chat telling me that I'm being dumb. No, I think you're right, Kalani. Like, it is a cultural worth thing.
What's a cultural worth?
The
Yeah,
price
well,
of
how much
fossils
these
being so
animals-
inflated, in particular, right? It is also right now, I think, a market bubble because wealthy people are trying to use fossils as a tax evasion tool instead of modern art because people realize that drawing a couple of paint strokes on a canvas isn't actually worth anything, and that just saying it's worth $20 million so that you cannot pay taxes on that money is kind of a game people have figured out.
And NFTs didn't work.
Right, so they're like, let's try fossils. Anytime I am asked about it,
Non-fossil tokens.
I just if wealthy people are like, should I buy one as an investment tool? I say no because A, it's a scientific thing, and B, this is the stupidest financial bubble I have ever seen, and you will pay for it dearly.
Do we have combat turned? Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
turn it
course.
on. This could be cool.
Yeah,
What's
I
gonna
wanna
happen? Bonk.
We should have it fighting into
I think
Indominus Rex.
I think it jumped off the T-Rex and somehow its like skin exploded and blood. The Indoraptor's skin, not the T-Rex. To be
Dino bubble bursts.
Yeah.
That would make a big mess. I mean, a lot of blood.
Kinda
That's
cool
what
fight.
diverticula are, right? They're dino bubbles.
Yes.
Yeah.
The bubble.
The dirty bubble.
Ladies and gentlemen, the
The
bubble.
bubble.
Hey, we got a donation from
Hey!
Paleo AK 92, $50. Thank you.
Thank you
much.
very
so
much.
much. Getting close to that.
Yeah, we're getting
4K.
We're getting
5K.
We're getting close to 5K, which we
We're
really.
very close.
I would really like
We are-
to pass.
We are $450 away.
That's so close.
That is very
Yeah.
close.
Come on, guys, you could do it in the next 12
We can
minutes.
do it. I stopped paying attention. Who won the fight?
I think the T-Rex ran away.
Okay. 80 million newtons, and it couldn't do it. I feel bad in a way.
For
Hearing how you, Amelia, and Scott enjoy watching Fallen Kingdom, and I've seen it once, and I truly have no desire to see it again.
Here's the thing. What I like about it is, the T-Rex has been killed.
Oh dear.
Well, here's what it is for me. It's not that I really enjoy watching it, but as a level of schlock, it's kind of second to none. It's just terrible, and it doesn't feel like it's trying to be good.
We do have, side note, a second place. Let me confirm this really quickly. Make sure I'm not missing anybody.
Adam Molos says Indoraptor resembles the actual life appearance of Dakota Raptor. It does not have a turtle shell, so I don't think it does.
What if it's part turtle and it's DNA?
It might be.
We don't
It
know
is
that.
part Dinosuchus. I learned by reading the Dinopedia, but the Dinopedia also says that Indominus Rex is part Dinosuchus. So
It's probably just in the Indominus Rex part.
yeah,
I also learned
it's probably
something
what's
very-
giving it these weird scoots.
I learned something very interesting about Dakota Raptor the other day.
What?
Something
Do
you
you
can
know?
share.
Yes, it is. Did you know that the part of it that is a turtle is accessioned at my museum?
I did not.
No!
Yeah, I was
You
talking
need to go
about
meet the turtle.
I was talking about it, joking about it, and somebody I work with was just like, Dakota Raptor's here, right? And I was like, all of it? And they were like, no, just the turtle entoplastron. I was like, that's kind of all there really is. But
Can I also just say that if we do find out that turtle bit is actually a new species,
hey,
God,
Ollie
it would
Fiorenza's
be-
here. Hey, Ollie.
Ollie!
Hi, hello.
Yeah.
Hey!
Oh, cool.
Yes, Dakota Raptor does not exist, but I do want to restrict the name Dakota Raptor to the turtle.
That would be so funny.
Daniel has tipped $10. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
very much.
Daniel.
Much thanks, Daniel.
Donated.
You were going to say something, Amelia.
I don't remember what it was.
Was it about our second place?
Oh, I was a while ago. Yeah, that was. Let me make sure. Here's the problem: is I'm looking at the emails, and they do not tell me what people donated under, the name that they donated under. They tell me the other names. So
Well,
give me.
As we're approaching 9 minutes left to go, should I take this to the species viewer?
Let's take it
Let's
to the
take
Yeah,
it. Let's take it to the bridge.
Take it to the bridge.
Also, side note, this doesn't seem to be. Our leaderboard on here has not updated because there's a $250 donation that we got that's not on there.
This one always takes a little while to update. I don't know why.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
probably some internal clearing process.
Also, Kevin Preem, Indoraptor definitely isn't bulletproof. It gets shot a couple times and is hurt by it.
I wish it had been shot more times.
It should have been shot way more times. But it is weak to Triceratops type Pokemon.
And gravity types.
Gravity sweet.
That's just
I'm
reminding me.
just really
I've
looking at
seen
this.
I've seen random TikToks of someone made these ports of, oh god, it's so pretty, of some of the old Pokemon games and added a bunch more types, such as making Primeape monkey type.
Monkey. Oh, that's a nice Allosaurus right there.
Yeah, it is. We're going to talk about I clicked the wrong
No.
one.
You did. How
Okay.
dare.
I know. But yeah, I forgot there's different colors for it. But they all kind of
I mean,
look good.
Barely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess there is more colors to it and stuff, but like the black looks best.
Side
How
note: we are
stupid it
still
looks.
$440 away from our $5,000 goal. You guys are slacking.
It is.
James, you gotta hide
Got
the
you
UI.
slacking.
Oh, I gotta hide the UI.
Well, unless you want it walking, keep it walking. Keep it walking, not running.
Like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Amelia, you're first.
I am okay. I'm gonna keep it simple, keep it stupid because I love this animal and it's stupid. I'm giving it an S, and I don't feel any need to justify myself because I like it, and that's all that matters.
All right.
Okay. I respect that.
Jimbo.
Yeah. I know. I'm internally fighting.
I'm externally fine.
It's a C tier design. This is a bad design. It had an opportunity to be very creative and to do something interesting, and it has squandered that. All it has added to the equation of the Indominus Rex is adding more anatomically impossible things and weird misscalings of the anatomy that don't look scary and don't look creepy and don't look cool. They just look dumb. C tier, it would be D tier, but I've thought about what's in D tier, and it's not as bad as that.
All right.
I'm trying to remember where the hell this thing is. Oh my god. Hey guys, you've been really slacking. We haven't had Indominus Rex on the tier list.
Oops.
Oops, no Indominus Rex.
Oh no. Hey guys, everyone in chat, remind me of where Indominus Rex went.
I'll look it up in our video catalog.
It's got to be in one of them, right?
Well, yes, we did rank it.
We got SABBA, which put it into
B
or
A.
I'm trying to see how we calculate how we did the calculate. A. It was an A.
It was
Well,
A? Okay. I guess I'll try to throw it in wherever it was.
Wait,
I'll-
what is
I'll
this
put it-
beautiful Allosaurus I'm looking at?
I'll put it next to notice.
You gotta go
Notisaurus.
live. Your stream's lagging way behind there, Alex.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll throw it next
Oops.
to Notisaurus because we forgot about that one too. Well, more importantly, where does this fine gentleman go? Not fine gentleman.
Well- That's a good question.
Yes. So I would say that I will say that it's B. I don't hate it. I don't think it's I kind of don't think it's as good as Indominus Rex, even though I think that like I find Indominus Rex a little dull, and I find this one Man, it might just be that I think that the movie's way worse, and that isn't how that's supposed to work.
Hey, Scott, Kalani
Also-
says to put it at the bottom.
I also want the record to show that my dad just texted me right now, and he said it looks like a chupacabra.
that's kind of cool. Chupacabras are cool.
That makes me like it more.
Scott, your dad is definitely S tier at the very least.
My dad is
Clearly.
S tier. Everybody loves Captain Johnston.
He's H tier.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? Just for like, honestly, I think that that's pushing me. That I think I will put it in A tier. I enjoy it.
What
Like-
the what's wrong with you?
I don't know. I'm trying to judge it based on the design and not based on the movie. And
certainly not based on its potential that it will never reach, because that's not anything that actually exists.
well, we had to tip a hand.
3 minutes
to-
to 4.
Okay, side note, if we have 80 people watching the stream right now, if all of you donated just $5, we would reach our goal
Yes.
Instantaneously.
instantaneously.
Like to tip our hand about something that happened in our 5-hour lost stream. We had a big fight that convinced me about something that has to do with another hybrid later on. You know what? Okay, I'll put it in A tier for me. I'm being kind.
You will not be spared in the revolution.
I know I won't be.
Okay. I'm going to do this very quickly, which is that I think it's a B. It's not bad. It's not as bad as James believes. It's not as bad as anything in D. I like the outline of it. I like some of the ideas behind it. The fact that it doesn't change colors is kind of dumb, and I like Indominus more than I like it. So B. It goes in the B.
Adamolos did donate $5. Thank you, Adamolos.
Thank you, Adamolos.
Thank you so much, Adamolos.
This is tricky because I had to pull up the Tyrannon video.
Anonymous donated $10.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
I had to pull up Tyrannon to look at the state of the tier list because I just didn't remember. And frankly, I'm looking at the tier list. B and C are an interesting zone of the tier list because I don't know if I fully agree with everything we've done.
That's fair.
B is looking mighty empty, which is kind of why I'm tempted to put this in B tier. I don't like this as much as Indominus Rex. And if I'm going on design and not movie, I think the behavior that it does in the movie compensates for deficiencies in the design. Like when it does this little mean mug to the camera and it tricks people with its tail, like I love that. That's really silly and fun. And I like it creeping around. But it doesn't do that in the game. It just walks around. And it just kind of lumbers. It's not it takes the Indominus Rex and just kind of the only cool bit is it makes it lanky, but it also makes it small. I don't know.
C. Chalamet is it?
I think I'm gonna say C tier for this.
Ooh.
Because
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I think I'm saying C strategically because I think it'll probably fall into B. But I think I like Megalosaurus more than this.
I just had the thought of like, because you mentioned you wish it did some more of like the mean mugging and more of like the kind of like almost fourth wall breaky sort of like knowingly evil stuff. I wish that this guy kind of broke the game a little bit. Instead of like kind of obeying the laws of how all the other dinosaurs work, I wish it could just like, oh no, it broke into the hatchery and then got out that way or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh, you just kind of can't contain this thing, or like it found out how to turn off the power.
They're in. How to do that, man? They're in.
Yeah.
Scott, I think you should know that in chat, while you were ranking this at A tier, you heathen, she said that she was, and I quote, regretting her choice in Friends. Do you want to change your vote?
Alani!
Dun, 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 dun,
I'm
dun.
hurt.
You can change your vote.
Oh no, the Indoraptor.
I will
learned how
not
to
be
use a
bullied.
gun.
What'd you say?
The Indoraptor learned how to use a gun.
Mr. Snappy, 1794.
You know, if that had been the ending of the movie, I think I would have just unironically thought it was great.
Hey, if the velociraptors can like figure out door, like there's not a lot between door and gun.
You're right. They're like I'm not going to make any of the questions.
I'm
Any of the
mentally
jokes.
wrapping myself around that statement, but I just can't. There's not a lot between door and gun. I think that's where we got to start.
Like the like it's just like
Hey, Alex Straley, thank you for the $20 donation. Good to see
Thank
move
you
the
very
finger
much.
and something
Thank you.
happens.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's ranked. That gets to. So what we have?
Oh, Paleo AK92, 69.69.
Thank
Nice.
you very much.
That's
Very
what I like
nice.
to see.
So I guess with
$20 from Anonymous.
two C's,
Awesome.
an A, and an S. Oh my gosh, they're rolling in.
It's because we were fighting.
Adam almost did the
Yeah.
math for us in chat.
So yeah, Adam almost did the math. So that would make it a B tier.
Thank you.
At least
For-
it's not
Okay,
A.
so let me start up my little recording here. Or no, I don't want to screw anything up. I'll do that after the fact,
Yeah, the magic of editing means that you can do that later.
Mhm.
and we'll throw it in B tier.
It's in B tier. And no wheel, of course, because this is a
No
special
wheel,
episode.
because we know what's happening next.
It is. Has it been revealed yet? Yes, it has.
Nope. Of course it has, James. Now, astute viewers will remember that next week's video is going to be Nigersaurus, and so tune in for that. We're very excited. We got a great video cooked up for you. Now, because this last video you just watched was recorded as part of a live stream, we didn't really have the foresight to record a proper outro, and for that, Editing Dalton apologizes. We love to do an outro for you. And so, as part of this outro, I am obliged to say, if you like what you saw today, please subscribe to the channel, please like the videos, and please leave comments. All of these things really do help to keep the channel growing and reaching more and more people, and we appreciate it. And if you really like the content that we produce, we have a Patreon. There's a link to said Patreon in the description, and there are a number of tiers ranging from $3 all the way up to $100, and they come with a variety of benefits, all of which includes access to the Skeleton Crew Discord, which is a happening place online. We all have a ton of fun in there. Now, you'll have seen the names scrolling by in the credits. These are all of our patrons, but those patrons that are in Gorgosaurus tier and higher get a special verbal shout out, which I'm going to do right now. So we want to give a special thanks to Benjamin Seepser, Nickname 3110, Philip Fico, Andrew Niddle, Christopher Bellis Jones, Dana Kairos, King Zasu, Max Ironpaw, Original Username, Pythonic, Riley Shiro, Swamp Ape Science, and Wheat. Thank you again to those patrons and to all of our patrons for helping to make these videos possible. And again, thank you so very much to all of the people who've donated to the SVP Futures Award through the Skeleton Crew fundraiser. We are overwhelmed by the support that we're getting, and we're hoping we can raise even more money before the fundraiser becomes inactive. So remember again to check the description for the link to donate and give a donation when you can. We really appreciate it. This is Editing Dalton, signing off, and we'll see you in Nigersaurus.